Hello and thank you for watching. This is Jennifer Bowman with Olympia Piano, and this is video 24 in the series on Chopin's Nocturne in C-sharp minor. In this video, we will be covering two measures, 51 and 52. In my score, which may be slightly different than yours, it's this music here. In my score, it is marked appassionato. We are quite loud here, very intense chords and harmony, and that's what we're going to start with here in measure 51. So we've got F double sharp, E natural, C sharp, A sharp with an E. So we already have an E down here. So let's stack this up so it's by thirds, so no letters are touching, so to speak. I'm going to put the F double sharp up here. So we have E, then F double sharp, so that means I've got to put the E on the top, because when we're trying to figure out the harmony, we can't have E and F next to each other. So F double sharp, A sharp, C sharp, and E. That's our harmony. It's kind of an advanced and unusual harmony because F double sharp diminished, but that has to do with the fact that we're in a measure of secondary dominance. I'm not going to go further than that, but suffice it to say we're leading up to a big buildup right now. So that chord then leads to the next chord, F double sharp, D sharp, C sharp, A sharp. I don't know if you can hear that. We have D sharp and C sharp up here, but we already have them here. I'm going to put this F double sharp up here. D sharp, F something, F double sharp, skip the G, A something, A sharp, skip the B, D sharp, 7, that's a D sharp dominant, which is secondary dominant, 5 of 5, that's going to lead to some sort of G sharp chord. Next measure we have G sharp, D sharp, B sharp, and an F sharp, as well as a B sharp up here, and then an A, that's an appoggiatura, so we won't use that. So let's get that stacked up in thirds. Put the G sharp up here. We got a second here, so let's put these two on top. Plain old G sharp 7. Next chord, and B sharp, which we already have here and here. So let's put that B sharp here, and then just a different inversion of G sharp 7, our 5 chord. So building quite a lot of tension here as we come to the dominant chord. So let's go over the left hand fingering. There are not a lot of choices here because the intervals are so large between what your pinky and your thumb are playing. So 5 for F double sharp, 3 for E, you get a pivot, 1, 2, then that middle note changes from E to D sharp, everything else stays the same, 5, 3, 1, 2, then also this is going to lead up to here, 5, 3, 1, 2, and then a little bit smaller interval, 5, 3, 1, 2. In terms of motion, it's so large we're pivoting and it's quite loud, so we're not floating off. So I watch my hands and they'll kind of do a circle like this. 5, 3, 1, 2, reset. 1, 2, 5, 3, 1, 2, 5, 3, 1, 2. Right hand has a bunch of single notes. As we've discussed in other videos, to play a loud single note, what we're going to be doing is using the whole finger pad to roll up, but the roll up motion, the attack to the keys, it's not going to go straight down, but we're going to do, it's almost like a sideways check mark. You're going to roll quickly. So we'll start with finger 3, rolling up, then switch to 4, and then quarter notes, quick roll ups, 3, 2, 1, then I'm going to lift. Here's that appoggiatura I was talking about, that A that leads to G sharp, 5, 4, 2, then lift on 1. We'll have the pedal on here, so the notes are going to really ring. So 1, 2, ring, 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 lift and move. I'm not quite putting accents on them, but almost, because of the appassionato. In terms of putting hands together, this is extremely straightforward. Only half notes and quarter notes in the right hand. They're going to line up very, very nicely. Very straightforward. In terms of dynamics, we've grown to, I'd say, F plus at the appassionato. So during measure 51, I'm going to keep that forte plus, and then in the next measure 52, do a little bit more of a crescendo because of the nature of that 5 chord, which is going to then lead to the 1. So I'd like to pull that sound all the way through the beginning of 53. So just be mindful that the left hand doesn't get too loud on the tail of each pattern. All right, so here we go, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, F plus. Now a little louder. And then pedaling, I think once every 2 beats is best for this part. Because it's appassionato, we want a lot of sound. We want this to feel very emotional. So we want to keep those bass notes kind of pulling through. So pedal, 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 pedal. And then finally, in terms of the pacing, depends on how you interpret appassionato. Myself, I like to let it go and move forward here. So something like this. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to play the measure before. You might also hear it played in a very expansive way. So instead of moving forward like I prefer to do, so interpreting the appassionato rather than speed, more volume, and that might sound like this. So that would be more of a grand interpretation. Like I keep mentioning through this series, experiment and see what seems to fit with your overall concept of the piece, as well as your level of technique. You might find that your interpretation may change over time. I might play this differently now than I did when I was 20 years old. So just allow room for experimentation and exploration, because that's one of the most wonderful things about playing romantic music. So that's the end of today's lesson. We are almost to the scales. As we prepare for the measures with the scales, I encourage you to watch. I have a 20 or 30-minute video on how to put the scales together. So in the scale videos themselves for this overview, I'm just going to be giving you a few simple tips on practicing the scales, how to get them fast, that sort of thing. Please share with others who might enjoy or appreciate this style of teaching. Please make sure to subscribe. It really helps me reach more people around the world. Please donate if you feel so inclined. Your donations allow me to allot more time to making videos, which in turn can reach more people than I could just teaching lessons out of my home. So thank you so much. Love knowing where you're from. And as always, thank you for watching.